Best wishes. Very well. Yes. Orders for me? Best wishes. Beautiful. Yes. If that's what you want. Spring is sprung. Time for a swim? Let's go. Yes. Best wishes. Gotta cool off. Well. I'm listening. Yes. Time for a swim? Orders for me? Beautiful. Let's go. Well, very well. If that's what you want. Yes.
I make my stand here.
Orders for me? Time for a swim? Best wishes. Let's go. Spring is sprung.
Hey everyone, GuardianE here with another Camilla Emblem clear video in Fire Emblem Heroes. Today we'll be tackling Bramimond, the Enigma, in his very own Mythic Hero Battle on Abyssal difficulty. So we have our very first colorless tome user in the game, and this map does not disappoint. Lots of supremely tanky units with guard effects, debuffs all over the place, moderate reinforcements, and some pretty interesting terrain composition. Bramimond himself is tucked away up here on a defense tile with his default kit, plus a close defense seal for good measure. And he's deceptively tanky. He has obviously very impressive res, and his defense is decent, but that's further supplemented by his attack defense push skill, as well as the close defense seal. So they've supplemented his decent defense and made it that much more impressive. The combination of Impenetrable Dark, his unique C-slot skill, and the Lull Attack Res 3 means that you effectively can't have any offensive or defensive buffs on your unit when they are in combat against him. The Lull skills effectively neutralizes visible activated buffs like Hones and Rallies to really what are the two most important stats, attack and res. And the Impenetrable Dark nullifies any proximity-based support skills, such as goads, wards, or even other more unique effects like Infantry Rush, like Brave Lucina's Weapon Refine, things of that nature. Those all get neutralized. The only thing that carries over, at least as far as I can tell, is support, like our ally support between each other if they're at A, B, C, or S rank. And of course, he has Luna fully charged here, which means a lot of damage on that first initiation when he is able to actually attack. So he's definitely difficult to take out, though I will say that a very high res Raven Tome user can be very effective at him being colorless. Obviously, he does not have close counter, meaning that you can chip away and gang up on him with melee-based attacks as well. On the map, there are a lot of armors. Armors kind of make a slow approach, and they're often equipped with Panic Ploy or Guard, other debuff effects. The green Manakete over here has Dark Breath to cripple your unit stats while also having Guard. The Cleric over here on the right-hand side has even Pulse Tie, actually. So this is something we don't see very often. It was introduced with Nils. It essentially intends to neutralize a glass cannon instant charge, like on turn 1, or I guess on turn 2, since it's even. Those units that get an instant charge, like Ophelia's or Sonia's. However, since you can kill the Cleric on turn 1, you can avoid that debuff altogether and not really have to worry about that if that is going to be your singular nuker strategy, is to have a nuker with 3 dancers. That is possible, and probably pretty effective, actually, overall. The enemies will move on turn 1, whether they are baited or attacked or not, so just be wary of that, and reinforcements do not appear to be based on enemy deaths. They do seem to be turn-based, so regardless of if you take out an enemy, they do just seem to come out regardless. You can't really strategize based around that. This entire right column over here has some reinforcements that spawn with cardinal direction debuffs. They always do, and the Cleric has a res ploy, as you can see, but oftentimes on the right hand side you'll find some other ploy, panic ploy, other things, and given the impressive and inflated overall stat lines for Abyssal level enemies, more often than not they'll meet that condition to actually debuff your allies, your units, with that ploy skill, because their res will be amazing or their HP will be amazing. So just be wary of that. So let's take a look at the Camillas themselves to, I guess, round out the strategy that we employed. So we'll start with Brave Camilla up here. So we've got Brave Camilla, Light of Nor Camilla merged at +10 with 5 Dragon Flowers, has an attack asset, kept her native Sangreather, Restore Plus, gave her Miracle for the special, has her attack speed push 4, Wrathful Staff for the B slot. I switched to Hone Flyers for the C slot because I did want to have at least 1 Hone Flyers on the team. And then Attack Defense Bond 3. She just needed a little bit of extra damage in some instances, and she also needed just a little oomph to her defensive stats so she could survive. So this is what I ended up swapping in for her. Next up, we have New Year's Camilla. So New Year's Camilla, Holiday Traveler Camilla is merged at +10 with a speed asset, has her Slaying Edge reposition Gale Force build, Death Blow for the A slot, Goad Flyers for the C slot, and Heavy Blade 3 for the Seal. So she is going to be the resident Gale Force user on the team. For the B slot, I gave her Axe Breaker 3, and I'll show why I did that a little bit later. I don't think it was actually absolutely necessary. I had it on her for some other strategies that I was trying to employ, but there's a particularly problematic green Axe user later that spawns, and this was intended for that. Next, we've got Summer Camilla. So we have Tropical Beauty Camilla merged at +10 with an attack asset, has Blarblade, Death Blow for the A slot, Desperation for the B slot, Goad Flyers for the C slot, and Reposition for the assist. For her Seal, I ended up putting on Attack Speed Bond 3, just needed to give her a little bit extra speed so she didn't get doubled, and give her a little bit of extra damage as well. I went ahead and put Blazing Thunder on her as an AoE special, which does come in handy a little bit later. And then finally, we have Spring Camilla merged at +10 with Summoner support and a speed asset, 5 Dragon Flowers, Gron Raven Triangle Adept build, Reposition for the assist. For the special, I actually gave her Miracle, so she can survive some encounters. Gave her Quick Riposte 3 for the B slot. I actually don't think this ever comes into play. Again, one of those residual skills that I kept on her as I was trying different strategies. Normally I have Advantage, and I think that would work fine here. I can't remember offhand. Goad Flyers for the C slot, and then Brazen Attack Defense 3 for the Seal. She needed just a little bit of extra stat boosts against Bramimond himself, and the fact that you can't really get any effective buffs from your allies at all, essentially, against him is a little bit problematic. So this did help to boost some of her damage, and also helped her to tank certain attacks as well. So let's get started. Like I had mentioned, the Cleric over here, we don't want to mess with this Even Pulse tie, so we just want to take her out right away, and we can do that with New Year's Camilla. So we're just going to use Summer Camilla to reposition New Year's down here. She will initiate on the Cleric, double, and activate Gale Force in the process. And we want to get rid of these Knights as quickly as we can. They're just a problem. I mean, they slowly approach. They're really, really super tanky. They've got that guard, rear guard and barrier lance, respectively, wary fighter, and then just a whole host of debuffs that you don't want to mess with. So they're just a pain. So we're going to go ahead and initiate on the Axe Knight with Brave Camilla, and then finish off the Axe Knight with New Year's Camilla. And then we're just going to sit here and let them approach, and let the first wave of reinforcements hit. So we'll start moving forward. We've got some reinforcements. We have this Blue Dagger unit up here. Pretty straightforward, just an offensive unit. The Cleaner, Desperation, Death Ploy, and Death Blow 3. Nothing really too crazy there, just a powerful offensive unit. We've got another Thief over here, but a colorless Thief with Dragon Slasher, so dragon effective weapon. Pivot, Draconic Aura, has a attack defense solo, as well as Wings of Mercy, and Panic Ploy. So Panic Ploy, I had mentioned how the right-hand column is basically rife with ploy skills, or ploy debuffs. So just, you want to kind of get out of that range if you can. The Wings of Mercy is deceptive. You just want to, as always, these movement-based shenanigans, if you end up reducing any of the HP for anybody over here below 50%, this guy can just swoop in and ruin your day. So you just want to make sure that you're aware of that. And then the Bow Cavalier down here has Guard Bow, also very tanky, Quick Riposte Guard Bow, Close Defense, Dull Range. So again, tanky, tanky, tanky. So, obviously, one of the bigger problems with us being a flyer team is going to be the Bow Cavalier, so we'll just use New Year's to double and activate Gale Force in the process over here. And we're going to sidle down next to her to provide her with some additional buffs. We're also going to take a pot shot at the Lance Knight over here. We're going to do 49 damage, and that is important to note, actually, because that keeps him just above 50%, which means that the Thief over here does not have, or cannot use Wings of Mercy to swoop in down here. And then at this point, we're just going to, again, provide the buffs to New Year's Camilla as she finishes off the Bow Cavalier and charges her Gale Force for the next turn. So the Lance Knight's going to move forward and attack Spring Camilla, but Spring Camilla is very, very tanky. She is barely going to feel that one. And now this Lance Flyer appears down here. Very, very impressive res. Very impressive res indeed. Fire Sweep Lance, so she can't counter-attack and Iote Shield. So the fact that she can't counter-attack, we're going to use that to our advantage. We're just going to use New Year's Camilla to kind of beat her over and over again until she goes down. So we'll attack once, and when we attack once, that gets rid of her panic, because she was panicked and had that debuff. So now after the Gale Force has refreshed her, she now has her more impressive attacking stat line, and she can double and kill the Lance Flyer here, just like so. Like I said, the Lance Knights, or the Knights in general, we just want to take out because they're problems. So at this point, we're going to use Spring Camilla to chip away at the Lance Knight here. Lance Knight has Wary Fighter, which again makes him pretty tanky and hard to one-round kill. So we're going to double up with Spring Camilla and Brave Camilla to take him out. And then the Sword Fighter over here will just eliminate him with Summer Camilla on initiation. Get a little bit of charge on her special, and now she's in the range of the Thief, but she can actually tank this without any issue. She's not going to get doubled, and she will double back and kill on enemy phase. She also has her special charged for this turn, and we're going to get another set of reinforcements. So we're going to have the Sword Dragon down here. She has Brave Sword with Iote Shield, Flyer Formation, and Guidance. Flyer Formation could potentially have been an issue if the Lance Flyer was still around, but she's not. So really the Blue Fafnir is the only other flyer currently on the map, and they're all the way up here, so we don't really have to worry about that. But with an impressive stat line and Brave Sword and being really tanky, also having Guidance, so other units could potentially have movement shenanigans, we just want to take her out. She's right here, so we may as well. So we're going to initiate on her first with New Year's Camilla, who's getting all of the goad buffs, which is very, very good, and she will be refreshed from Gale Force and be able to attack again. But we don't want to do that just yet. We want to take care of this very menacing line of enemies on the left-hand side, alongside Bramimond, who has made his approach. So, in order to do that, we're going to use the newly charged Blazing Thunder from Summer Camilla and take out the Red Mage right now. And that's going to allow us to chip down on the Manakete over there, as well as the Blue Thief. And that will allow Brave Camilla to secure the kill against the Green Manakete. And in the process, she's going to be employing the debuff, and in the process, she's going to be employing gravity debuffs on the Blue Thief and Bramimond, which is very, very potent here. Delays their approach, essentially, and lets us kind of maneuver as needed. And we'll finish off the Sword Dragon here with Spring Camilla. Just take her out. And now we're going to use New Year's Camilla to reposition Brave Camilla to safety. Brave Camilla is still in the range now of Bramimond and the Blue Thief, and she won't survive that. So we're going to remove her and move her over here. The big issue is that the Axe Fighter she's now in the range of the Axe Fighter. So this Axe Fighter is so annoying because look at his defensive stats, 42-30, very, very impressive. Has Panic Ploy as well, like I said. Panic Ploy as well. Like I said, the units on the right-hand side tend to have ploys, and Panic Ploy is a common one. Has Fury to supplement stats, Slaying Axe with Speed Refine, and also Wind Boost. Now, the boost skills are really, honestly, pretty bad overall. I mean, there are only a couple of units in the game that really can effectively use boost skills. It doesn't really apply for Abyssal stat-leveled enemies because their stats are absolutely ridiculous. And because of that, Wind Boost is going to effectively give this Axe Fighter +6 speed on both player and enemy phase. They already have pretty considerable speed at 47, and then further, this unit has Repel. So in conjunction with the fact that this unit has fairly impressive defensive stats, they also have Repel, which essentially allows them to scale down and nullify and reduce damage to them based upon their speed stat over the opponent's speed stat. And in this instance, because they already have a relatively impressive speed stat and a whole bunch of other stats or other skills to increase their speed stat, makes them pretty tanky overall. Despite that, we're just going to reposition Brave Camilla over here because she can tank that, especially with the Defense Bond seal on her. Now, with the Repel, that is going to also push Brave Camilla down here, which is fine. That also now provides a Home Flyers buff to Spring Camilla for this turn. Now, at this point, we're just going to kind of fall back. We want to position ourselves so we're getting adequate buffs, chipping down the enemies and tanking them, and covering our bases as far as the weak points on our team. So we'll do that. We're going to place Spring Camilla right over here so that she is actually in the range of both Bramimond and the Blue Thief. She's going to be able to tank both of them. She has Miracle charged, and that's exactly what we want. So now we just shift next to her, and we'll use Brave Camilla to just shift back as well in the danger zone, or out of the danger zone, to heal Summer Camilla. And now we're going to move New Year's Camilla right here to be able to block off and engage the Axe Fighter, or defend against the Axe Fighter. The map composition itself, with the ravine or canal sort of going down the middle here, is pretty nice because there aren't too many flyers on the enemy team. And what that means is that you can utilize that to your advantage to choke point them as needed. Of course, that also applies to your team. If you're not using flyers, it may make things a little bit dicey as far as maneuvering, just because, again, you don't have the freedom of movement to go over the ravine left and right, except for this bridge. So, again, we're going to move New Year's Camilla down here just to block it off and let the Axe Fighter attack into her. Bramimond is going to initiate on Spring Camilla. That Miracle is going to go off. Spring Camilla is going to tank that and then just retaliate. And then, once again, we have Spring Camilla taking no damage from the Blue Thief at all. She does have that attack defense, brazen attack defense active currently. And the New Year's Camilla, this is where her Axe Breaker came into play. Basically just dealing with this annoying guy. Like I said, the Axe Fighter's speed is pretty amazing, so just neutralizing their ability to double against New Year's Camilla is effective, and also ensuring that New Year's Camilla can double back allowed her to chip away at the Axe Fighter adequately. And just enough so that Brave Camilla can go ahead and finish off the Axe Fighter on player phase. The Fafnir is making their approach, finally, but we're just going to use the Summer Camilla's Blar Blade that is now boosted from the Hone Flyers, and just double and kill the Blue Fafnir on player phase here. And now all that's left is Bramimond by his lonesome, but he is not to be underestimated. Like I said, he is so tanky. So we're going to use New Year's Camilla first to just chip away. Obviously, she has some debuffs on her, but she's going to attack, activate Gale Force, and now her debuffs are gone, and her buffs are back. So now she will go ahead and double the Bramimond. That close defense and that considerable attack. I think at that point, he still had above 25% HP, so he also had attack defense push. But that's all over and done with. Spring Camilla can now land the killing blow. Right there, like so, and then that is it. So that's it. That's the strategy that I employed with Camilla Emblem to clear the Enigma Bramimond in his very own Mythic Hero Battle on Abyssal difficulty. Let me know in the comments below what strategies and teams you ended up utilizing to clear this Abyssal level map. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to leave us a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more Fire Emblem Heroes content. We thank you all so much for watching and taking time out of your day to spend with us. We really do appreciate it. Really hoping that you're all safe, secure, and healthy. Wishing the best for you, your family, and your friends. And until next time, let's protect those skies.